Okay, well, we're going to get started here. I want to welcome everybody and especially thank Anton for hosting us in his home tonight. It's a great thing. I mean, beautiful house. Thanks, Anton. Appreciate it. And we're going to get started with just kind of talking a little bit about a great product tonight and what's going on in Zango. There's a lot of great things happening, and I know a lot of people are loving what's going on because of the momentum that's being created by this little drink called Limitless. And it's a wonderful energy power-packed punch to your body that's all natural, 100%. And we're going to talk a little more about that tonight. But to get started, I kind of want to tell you my story and kind of where I came from and how I got involved with Zango. And it all started back when I was just a little kid growing up. I always asked my dad, what should I be when I grow up? And I always had these dreams to be a CIA agent because I always wanted to be a covert guy, be a spy, do all this stuff. I thought I was really sneaky because I got away with a lot of stuff with my parents and they never knew about. I don't know if you guys ever get that when families get back together, you start telling stories and you're saying, oh, we did this, and your parents are like, you did what? And they're like, oh, my brothers and sisters just actually recently, we just went through tons of stories telling our parents of things that passed the statute of limitations. We were ready to confess all of our confessions, and without getting in trouble, we told them a lot of stories of things we used to do. And so growing up, I was just always, what should I do? And my dad, he owns his own business, and he said there's nothing better than that, and says if you're ever going to do anything, there's two things, do what you love and own your own business, be your own boss. And I was like, awesome, that sounds great. One, do what I love. I found out that I loved working with people. Whatever I was going to do, it was going to be with people. I love sales, I love service. I just wanted to be involved with anything in that industry where I was working directly face-to-face with someone else, and I didn't quite understand what that was going to be yet. And the other thing was be your own boss. And I was like, okay, how can I do that? How can I get my own business and start building something? And as you know, if starting a business takes a lot of money, takes a lot of capital to get something going. And I started looking at my life and I was like, where am I going? What's my vision? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And what am I doing to realize the dreams that I have? And I started to really understand that if you want to accomplish something, you have to make serious changes in your life. You're not just going to get some there. If you want to see something you've never seen before, you've got to do something you've never done before. You have to put that effort in. Things don't just happen naturally. You're just not going to all of a sudden wake up one day and be like, hey, I'm living my dream. I'm traveling, working from anywhere, or I've got some great toys. I've got a nice home, family. Things don't just happen overnight. You really got to put the time in, and you got to start somewhere. Find out why those are your goals, why you're doing what you're doing to get to where you want to go, and then act on it. And so those are the types of things that I really started to understand, where you really had to have vision, you had to have that why, and you had to have that action. And so when I started seeing, the 97% of the world that wakes up every morning, gets out of bed, goes to work, comes home, watches TV, goes to bed, get up in the morning, goes to work, comes home, watches TV, that cycle was not for me. It's not something I wanted to do. And every time I ever do that, I just sit there and I slap myself because I hate that. Because there's so much more out there to help people to build their dreams, to build your own dream. And that's what I've seen so many leaders in this room do. Because the leaders here that are here tonight are the ones that taught me. They're the ones that said, okay, this is how you do it. This is the dream. This is what we're doing. This is how you live it. One, Dwayne Dyer, 500K in the back of the room. Amazing to have him here tonight. Anton, who's hosting 500K. Love to have, a mentor like this guy here and to really help you understand how to build your dream. We got Lance Schiffman, another one that I've really looked up to. Tom Ferrier in the house, 200K. I mean, there's some big leaders here. And pay attention to them. Ask them questions. Learn from them. There's a lot of good material that you're going to hear tonight. And if you like anything, just pinpoint that one point that really sticks out to you. Ask questions. Find out. Make that your drive. Make that your why. And I mentioned Anton hosting tonight. There's not too many leaders in Zango that have done more than he has. And he's built a great business. And he's one of the guys that I like to do stuff with because of his active lifestyle. And he goes cycling. He's always up for golf, which I love. It's always a fun deal. And there's just so many things that that he's taught me, and half of the things he probably doesn't even realize. And just because I've watched him over the years, I've seen what he's done, and I really appreciate his mentorship. So I want to bring him up and introduce Anton and turn the wand over to him and let him continue on the presentation and let us learn a little bit more about Limitless. So Anton, come on up. We appreciate you hosting it.
Thanks, Nick. I really appreciate him doing this. You know, when we first started talking about MB30, it was about 2 months ago was when this movement kind of started. And Nick was the first person that I thought of locally that would actually be interested in doing this and running with it. And so he agreed to go to breakfast with me at Neater's with Tommy Johnson and Kemuela Kirk to kind of get an idea of what this MB30 movement was all about. And he has just run with it, and he's just an amazing leader. He does a great job. He's got this down. And for those of you who are here with Nick, you know, and I should say Nicholas, that's what it says on all the slides and stuff. So I just really appreciate what you've done with this, Nick. And you know that the important thing with making this work as a business opportunity, and I know that that's what most of you are here to hear about, is the consistency and the activity, the constant activity, and just doing it from one meeting to the next very quickly. And that's what Nick is doing, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to do these meetings every week, a couple times a week. And so we want to do them one at a home meeting. And we thought, you know, we'd just do a little home meeting with like 6 or 8 people is a good way to start. And so we thought we'd do this tonight. And just at Lance's house a couple weeks ago, the room gets filled. It gets filled quickly and with people that are interested in building a business. This is my first go around with this industry. And the reason I got into this, and I'll just tell you real quick, this is, we're talking about Zango tonight, but more importantly about one specific product that Zango has launched in this past year. I did this and got involved 10 years ago, and it's hard to believe that Zango's 10 years old now. But when I got started, I was working in a hospital. I was doing public relations for a hospital chain, and I was also a reporter for covering the Utah Jazz, doing that, and I was writing articles on the side. So I was working 3 jobs. And my wife, who's here, Dustin, who's sitting back over here, thank you for letting me have everyone in the house tonight. But she was a full-time school teacher, and our children, and I think a couple of them are, I have one, my oldest in the back here, who's almost 20, and actually when we started this, he was just 8 years old, and we had 8, 5, and 2. And Zango came at a time for us when we were looking to really change what we were doing. I was so used to the lifestyle of trading time for money. And I realized that I only had so many hours in a day, and you could only pay me so much per hour that it sometimes is hard to make ends meet. And so I knew that I needed to do something different. But I wanted to do something that was going to give me time flexibility and freedom to do things with my family first and foremost. That's why I got involved in this business. You know, working in the hospital, I had been around I was on a lot of community boards, and I was around many successful people in this industry that were sitting with different companies on the boards. And I thought, gosh, it would be nice to be one of those guys, one of those distributors. But I didn't think that I would be able to do this business, to be honest with you, because when I first talked to my brother about this, I told him 2 things. I didn't want to speak in front of people, and I didn't want to have to sell anything. And he said, you don't have to do either of those. So here I am tonight. I knew, though, that if it was a good enough product that it wouldn't be selling, it would be sharing. And that's what I've been doing. And I've been mentored by some of the best leaders this industry has ever seen. And I can't believe, Dwayne Dyer is here tonight, who is a multi-millionaire in the multi-million-dollar club with Zango. We actually have four members here tonight. Lance Schiffman, the Ferriers, Tom and Carol. We have leadership around here that they're tremendous leaders, but more importantly, they're all down-to-earth people, which is what I like, and they have shown me that I can do this. That if anybody can do this, if I can do this, and which is Lori, why you're here tonight. She was afraid that I was going to single her out, but I talk about sharing this product in a spin class, which I have to take in the winter so I can be able to bike ride in the summer. She's the one who kicks my trash every day, and actually this morning. And she is taking the products faithfully and here tonight. But this is the reason why I did this, is my family. Now I want you to know a little bit about this company. This company is 10 years old, and if you wanted to get involved ever in this industry, in a company that is in this industry, make sure that it is at least 5 years old. And I say that now, having gotten in on day one of this company. But come to find out that 90% of the companies fail within the first 5 years. So knowing that Zango already is where they're at in 10 years should give you peace of mind for getting involved with a company that is successful, that is dedicated to its distributors, and knows what it's doing and is always creating new opportunity. Zango, like I said, category creator. We brought the mangosteen to the market. For those of you who don't know the picture of what a mangosteen is, most of you know. How many in here know what mangosteen is? You know what? If I would have asked you guys that 10 years ago, I bet you 3 hands would have gone up. Nobody used to know what mangosteen was. I didn't know. I thought it was from mango, like mango that you get in the store, right? That you can go to Hawaii and get it and love it. But that picture that you saw there, that is what a mangosteen is. It is grown in Southeast Asia. Well, this company, the product, mangosteen has never been brought to market. And there's a whole variety of reasons why that is. But know that Zango is the one that brought it to market. They're first to bring it to market. And being first means everything when you're branding a company, branding a product. We own the brand, we own the company, we own the product, we own mangosteen. And so that is what the science behind mangosteen. When I worked in the hospital, actually, I looking up what mangosteen was and realized that it has these properties in it that are very beneficial. And we actually have a doctor here tonight who's going to talk a little bit later, Dr. Johnson, about this. So I won't bore you with that. Or try to sound like a doctor when I'm not. But I will say physicians were actually in my office looking up mangosteen, looking up the ingredients of mangosteen, and telling me that, oh my gosh, Anton, if this is true, this is the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory on the market. And to me, that was validation for what this company was all about and why this product works so well, the Zango juice. Well, needless to say, Zango has come a long ways in 10 years, and we have several more product lines. But more importantly, just so you know, we do have mangosteen in all our products. That gives us a unique story that no one else has. This is what Zango reached $1 billion faster than any other company in this industry. And I'll tell you, they reached $1 billion in sales faster than all these companies up here. And normally I would trickle them in just so you could see, but Starbucks, Apple, Microsoft, Nike, Dell, Zango reached $1 billion in sales quicker than any of these companies. And I'll tell you something else. I mentioned that some of these top leaders in here, Lance here in the front row, being a multi-million-dollar earner in this company, we have over 120 distributors right now in the $1 million club. And That is unheard of in this industry. And that is something to be proud of, and something to tell you that this company works, the opportunity here works. But I'll tell you, I don't know any of these companies that have 120 millionaires in any of them right now. And that's the truth. So Zango has paid out, Zango did $1 billion in sales in 5 years. In 10 years, we're at, Dwayne, over $2.2 billion in sales, which means that Zango has paid to us, distributors, over $1 billion in commissions in that amount of time, which is unbelievable. We've created, like I said, over 100 millionaires, over $2 billion in sales to date. We're in actually 43 countries. Now, why is that important to you? Well, because the products are in those countries. I could sign somebody up with this opportunity who has ties to Japan, and they could sign up somebody who has ties to Mexico, who could turn around and sign up someone who has ties to my brothers in Kazakhstan today, doing meetings for Zango there. We have business and opportunity in all 43 of these countries around the world, and what that means for us is that we have even additional opportunity to share these products and to make money. Bottom line, I know for most of you in here, is the business opportunity and to make money. Now you wonder, I talk a lot about money with this, and you know, I've always been a little uncomfortable talking about money, and I actually am uncomfortable even with people in my home but you know what? It's important for people to understand that this company pays, that this is an opportunity where there are thousands of distributors who are tremendously successful. And you know, I wanted to just put up here one of my very first Power Start checks. Now, Power Start is a check that you get for signing someone up. Now, you may look at that and think, you know, that's not a whole lot of money, 28 bucks, right? Well, this was my unilevel check in December of 2002. 420 bucks. That's not too bad, right? That can make a difference. For us, as a 3-job income earner and my wife, $420 in a month was a big deal. I mean, that was almost, it seems, what she was making as a school teacher. I know that's not entirely true, but take home probably isn't much more than that. And then in March of that next year, I got a whopping $148 in Power Start commissions. So it's not too bad, right? Unilevel is once a month, Power Start is weekly, and then they have something that goes into a global bonus pool, and we're not going to explain how that works, but I just want to show you within a year's time what talking to people, sharing the product did for my business and for our family. And this, I have never shown these amounts before to anybody, okay? Tonight is the first. The reason I do is so you know that what is possible. And this isn't the biggest check I've ever had, and this isn't the biggest check any of these guys have ever had. This was a check I got after 1 year in this business. And it shows that putting your all into something, that doing a business like this where time is rewarded, I can control how much I want to make. I don't rely on my boss at the hospital to tell me how much I was going to get paid. Because every year for 14 years, no matter how good or probably how bad I did, I got a 3% raise, period. So there's not a whole lot of incentive to try to do much better, right? Even though I do say that I tried to do as good as I could. But this is a monthly check that I never would have dreamed. In fact, I'll tell you right now, this is more than what my wife made in an entire year as a school teacher. And we were able to make in one check. But I want to show you that it didn't just stop there, okay? These are unilevel checks, so I'll show, this was after 2 years. I made $34,000 after 5 years, so it doesn't stop, $36,000. And you probably want to know what is the global bonus pool. Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to show you one check, my very first check when I became a 500K. It was in January of '05. And yes, it was for $102,000 in 1 month. And that was the first time I was a part of the global bonus pool. Now, that is so uncomfortable, I'm not going to leave it up there. But I want to, this kind of business is life-changing. And I'll tell you right now, the opportunity is there for anybody, as long as you're willing to put the time and effort into doing what we're doing. So MB30, why now? What is MB30 about? MB30 stands for Millionaire by 30. Now, how many of you would like to be a millionaire by 30? Hopefully everyone who's under 30 in here, right? She's not 30 yet? Okay. How about millionaire by 40 or millionaire by 50 or 60 or 70? I don't care what it is. This was just a name for the movement, and it's because there's a lot of young people who are excited about the product that we have right now and are growing huge businesses with a single product focus. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, but I want to tell you that anybody in this room can be a millionaire by whatever your next birthday is, okay? Because you can do it with this program. Now 2020, when Nick introduced 2020 is kind of a system on how to do this business, how to do MB30, how to share this product Limitless, which hopefully all of you have had a chance to try now, and obviously I've had too much of it today. But 2020 is each of these boxes, as you can, we'll pretend that's Limitless. This is Ignite. But there's 20 sleeves in a box. So a 2020 party is taking one of these, buying it as a new distributor, getting 20 people to come into a room like this to do a meeting to get trained on how to build a business. Each one of these, hopefully they're all new people, will get to try a sleeve of Limitless with a nice cold bottle of water, which we have over there. That's what a 2020 party is. So why now? Why is it so important to get involved now? Well, I told you already that Zango is 10 years old. So we already know that the company has all the accolades in the industry that you could ever dream of. In fact, I will say Aaron Garrity, the CEO of the company, and my next door neighbor and relative, I guess, he is not here in the country, so I can say this. If he was here, I wouldn't want to give him too much more of an ego. But he is one of the most amazing men to run a business that you will ever meet. He has his law degree, he has his master's in business, and when he looks to find opportunity for us, it's not just Zango that stands up and listens, but it's actually the industry. Aaron has been recognized as the second most influential person, not in Utah, in the world in direct sales, in this industry. That's, of all the biggies out there, he sits number 2 as the most influential man in the world in this industry. So it tells you that people stand up and take notice and look at what this company is doing. It's creating millionaires, which is important, right? If you want to sustain product movement, you have continually new countries that they're opening, which creates continued opportunity. But more importantly, they're always looking for products that are the best at that moment in the industry. So why now? Because energy right now, do you know, in fact, I just confirmed this with Dr. Johnson, What is the number one reason people go to the doctor today?
No energy.
Low energy. He read the Cliff Notes on this presentation. Yeah, it's on fatigue. Low back pain, I would say didn't you say was the second most leading? So I don't have to worry about the energy part. But fatigue. How many people do you know don't have energy, are low in energy? Anyone in here? Probably not, because you just drank Limitless, right? But everybody that you know is always complaining about having too little of energy. Well, what did Zango do? They decided, like they did with vitamins, like they did with all these other brands, they decided that they would create the best product on the market. And that's what Limitless is. And I will say right now that we have, if you look around, you think, you know, what do you compare Limitless to? You know, is it Rockstar? Is it Red Bull? Is it Monster? Do you think any of those? No. Actually, Limitless has no peers. I mean, who else has a product that is healthy for you, that you mix actually in water so you don't have to have it in a can, that doesn't have the carbs and the sugars and all the other crap and fillers that all these other products have, that you buy, that you can get in a natural form, and something that is sustained throughout the day, that gives you energy and does not have a crash. And I'll tell you, I've tried most anything. Lori, how many different products she hates this. How many different products do they sell at the gym that are energy drinks or vasodilators or things like that? Tons. I mean, shelves of them, of products that you can buy. And how much are they per serving? Anywhere from $2 to $4, even $5 a serving. We're going to show you tonight why this product works for anyone and why it's easy to share with everyone, and everyone should be finding an easy market to move this product. The reason we focus on this product right now for all the new millionaires to be in Zango is because it's easy. Everyone needs energy. This is something that college students, my son's in college right now, he tells me how and I was sending him product to school and he was sharing it, and you know, how many people burn all-nighters to study, and how many people are trying to get by on 4 and 5 hours of sleep a night and still function at work and work out and take care of kids and take care of the household and exercise. Oh my gosh, exercise is huge. This is what this product is doing for people, and that's why this opportunity in this market is so huge for us. Energy right now is a $14 billion industry right now, and projected by the year 2020 to double that. Now, if you could have the best alternative out there in this industry, wouldn't you want to be a part of that? So what I want to do right now is to share with you, to bring up here Dr. Vaughn Johnson, who is a very dear friend. He got into this business early on. We've traveled all over the world doing meetings together, and he actually has a family practice here locally that people wait 9 months now to even get into them. So I have to try to use my texting to even get them on the phone. But has a tremendous amount of information and wisdom in what this Limitless does. And what I want to, actually before I do that, let me just play this for you. Are you guys okay to watch a video? 5-minute video.
Have you ever
grabbed an energy drink to power through the day, even though deep down you knew it was only a quick fix, probably doing long-term damage to your body? Or maybe you avoid taking these synthetic concoctions because
We are going to bring Dr. Johnson up because I am not a technical whiz, and I can either bring my son up here to fix it for me or turn it right over to Dr. Johnson, which is what I'm going to do. He can explain to you a little bit about what this Faveo Pro line is. It includes 3 products, but the next slide will just be Limitless, and he'll explain why we're just focusing on Limitless for this business opportunity. So if you will help me, please welcome up Dr. Vaughn Johnson.
I've missed you so much. Thanks, Anton. I appreciate that. Which one? That one? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be with you guys here tonight. And it's fun to talk about these products as a physician because, well, for several reasons. As Anton mentioned, it's a real issue nowadays when people are coming in just kind of feeling tired, feeling a little sluggish, slowed down, and looking for something to, a reason why, and why they're not feeling as well as they think they could. And so this is where a product like this, in my opinion, has a great niche because it's very safe, it's all natural, it's native to your body. And this is, in my opinion, something that we need to understand because oftentimes in the world of energy drinks and trying to create energy, they're Band-Aids. So if we say, hey, go grab a Red Bull, something like that, that's a Band-Aid, okay? And so unfortunately for a lot of people, yeah, you're going to give them an energy boost, but then after that energy wears off, what happens? Crash, exactly. So by early afternoon, they're starting to feel sluggish again, worn out, and so what happens? They take another one. And then by, late evening, early evening, they're running out of gas, they take another one. And now they can't sleep. And so we chase our tails, and this is where a product that they've created like Limitless is really smooth, and we're going to explain why that is. But all 3 of these products have a pretty cool niche. In the world of Ignite, this one I'm really excited about. My teenage son runs track for a local high school. He does extremely well with Ignite because it increases his exercise, and it's what we call a vasodilator, as Anton alluded to it earlier. And so, but again, the ingredients are all natural, so I don't have to worry about my teenage son taking something like this and having a negative effect on his body or reducing what he would create naturally. And then we have Reload, which helps maintain your hydration and rehydrate you. So Reload is something that you want to use like post-exercise because of the ingredients that are in that. And we could spend probably a good 30-40 minutes on each product, but tonight we're going to really focus on the star right here called Limitless, okay? So Limitless, as I stated, 100% natural. Very little sugar, which is huge. Sugar's a real problem right now that we're facing here in America. The average school-age child consumes pretty close to 54 teaspoons of sugar a day. Okay, a day. They estimate by the year 2020, okay, so that's only in 7 years, 50% of adults in America will have diabetes. It's a real problem. And the main reason? Sugar. And we're getting exposed to tremendous amounts. And unfortunately, in America, liquid sugar is probably the biggest culprit. We're consuming a lot of liquid calories and in the form of this sugar. And, and there's all sorts of chemicals, high fructose corn syrup. I don't care how natural, we're marketed to say it is. It's not. And it's very hard on the body. There's a lot of other sugars out there as well, and we need to be careful because, again, they create a disruption to the balance within the body and very much interfere with the function of the hormone insulin. And that's the one that, as you guys know, can precursor to diabetes. So in other words, you got to be careful with the amount of sugar that we're consuming. Unfortunately, though, almost anything you drink is going to have sugar in it. And this is why it's important that we pick and choose our battles very carefully and we educate ourselves on what are the best options that we have. And the food industry understands this very well. Do you really think vitamin water is full of vitamins? No, it's another name for sugar water. Other brands, Propel, sugar water. Okay, I mean, sodas, there's a tremendous amount of sugar. The average 20-ounce bottle of Coca-Cola, 10 teaspoons of table sugar. Mountain Dew, 15. Now, I had one patient try to convince me that it's okay to drink Mountain Dew because it's from the mountain, it's natural, you know. Dr. Pepper, it's made by a doctor, so hey, we're good with that. And so, unfortunately, that's not true. This is where a product like Limitless, to me, is extremely innovative for a couple reasons. Number one, very small amount of sugar. Okay, I think there's 15 grams, if I remember correctly. Tiny bit, okay? They use stevia, which is very innovative. Again, a plant-based sweetener, not really any calories there. And so that is extremely easy on the body and not hard on the hormone insulin. And then when they combine some of these other amino acids and other natural ingredients, you get a source, you create energy, but it's not really a stimulant. And this is important to understand because a stimulant, whereas oftentimes many of the over-the-counter energy drinks give you that boost, and then we talked about the crash. Unfortunately, with the tremendous amount of caffeine and sugar that's in a lot of these over-the-counter energy drinks, you're going to feel that. And it's very excitatory to the brain. And so oftentimes people feel like they can focus a little bit better after an energy drink for maybe 30 minutes, an hour, and then they can't because their brain is so agitated from all the caffeine and the sugar. This is where we have an advantage with Limitless because of the ingredients that they put in there, predominantly one called GABA, which is, again, a calming amino acid to the brain. So therefore, when I have more energy, my brain is calm, I focus. So people have a lot better mental focus when they're consuming a product like Limitless, in spite of having more energy. They're feeling like they're more awake and alert. It's a lot smoother, so people don't crash after they consume Limitless. It just kind of slowly wears out of the body. For all you guys that drank it right now and tasted it, you're going to need their sleep product called Rest and Renew, okay, because you probably won't sleep well tonight. It wakes you up. And actually, you will be able to fall asleep, but it does. This product will wake you up and help you feel more awake and alert. The other thing that's kind of innovative, whoops, let me go back to this one. Well, okay, so this is talking about Limitless itself, but this is where we're comparing it to all these other, drinks that are on the market. And why are all these being created? Because this is a real issue here in the United States. Most of us are running on empty. We need to feel like we're more awake and alert. Our bodies should do this. We should be able to wake up in the morning, feel rested, jump out of bed, ready to start a new day. I would be surprised if maybe just a few of you feel that way, but believe it or not, there are a few people out there that feel rested in the morning, excited for a new day, jump out of bed, and hit the ground running. Most of us force ourselves up, we're a little bit sleep deprived, we're a little bit tired, and we're looking for something to give us a little bit of a boost, and this is where most people self-medicate. And this is why, in America, probably the number one breakfast consumption is Diet Coke. Okay, and especially in our area. So you wake up in the morning, where's my Diet Coke? Because you need that little kickstart. Unfortunately, that's not a good, healthy way to do it. But as you can see, a lot of these contain high amounts of sugar. Oh, they'll throw a few natural ingredients in there, but then they throw a lot of other things in there that kind of undo the natural part of it. And that's the sugars, that's the caffeine. And then the other problem is if they use artificial sweeteners. You want to stay away from those the best that you can because, again, very hard on the body. And we're learning now that artificial sweeteners like aspartame, NutraSweet, Splenda, are 1,000 times more sugary than sugar to the body. So, unfortunately, they target diabetics with those, when diabetics should stay as far away from those as they can because it very much disrupts their physiology. But anyways, we should jump out of bed and feel better. Okay? When we don't, we're tired. It's oftentimes because the glands that help us create energy are exhausted and somewhat burned out. We call those the adrenal glands. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because in your own physiology, if you have adrenal glands that are tired and you start taking stimulants, at first you'll feel better, but then eventually that's very hard on the adrenal glands. So you're doing a disservice to the body, and as I stated earlier, you're purely band-aiding the problem. And this is why I got excited about a product like Limitless, because when you get into the physiology of it, it helps give you a natural boost of energy. The ingredients are actually healthy for the adrenal glands. They're not hard on the adrenal glands because they're not stimulants. So this is why the term sustained energy. It's not a boost and a crash. It's sustained energy throughout the day. And everybody's got to kind of experiment a little bit with it on what works best for them. Do I take it first thing in the morning? Do I take it mid-morning? Do I take half in the morning, half in the afternoon? You know, again, this is something you can kind of mess around with and see what works best for your own body. But nonetheless, remember that it's sustained energy. The other thing that's kind of cool, as I mentioned before, since it's not a stimulant and it's not agitating to the brain, people feel like they can focus better on it. Their thought process, their mental clarity, the way that they kind of and focus on tasks, again, the ingredients in this very much create that environment in the brain for that to happen. And this is why, again, it's very easy on the brain because it's not agitating. They've done studies on this on college students. We always like doing studies on college students because they're so willing and volunteering, and you can pay them like $10 and they're totally in. And so you bring them in, and so what we did with them, this was a few years ago, is they gave them a natural amino acid, and they combined GABA, and then they combined green tea extract, which contains an amino acid called L-theanine, okay? And they gave them this product, and they had them go through finals. And they told them that they couldn't consume any other beverages that contained stimulants, predominantly caffeine. And then they had another group where they had them use caffeine and whatever tactics they used to try to get through finals. And then what they did at the end of the finals is they compared their test scores to see who did better, and then they interviewed the students. Well, the college students that were using GABA and the green tea leaf extract did much better on their test and scored higher on their exams versus the people that used tremendous amounts of caffeine and sugar. Why? Well, because these students said they felt more awake and alert, but they weren't agitated. They felt a calm alertness, if that makes sense. So again, their brains were able to focus, and this is why with the ingredients in Limitless, you'll maintain this mental focus. And then the other thing that's cool about Limitless is it doesn't deplete your body of the proper hydration because it has a coconut water in it. And coconut water is a great way to rehydrate the body and maintain hydration because it helps balance what we call electrolytes, your sodium, your potassiums, and a lot of the other minerals to stay within the muscles so that, again, you stay hydrated. Unfortunately, a lot of our energy drinks nowadays that are stimulants will actually cause dehydration because they have a natural water pill effect, a natural diuretic. So you're going to urinate a lot when you're drinking those stimulant beverages. That dehydrates you. You don't want to be dehydrated. You want to maintain your hydration the best that you can, and that also helps maintain sustained energy throughout the day. And this is why it's an innovative product. Very easy on the body, okay? Very easy on the adrenal glands, which to me is tremendous because, again, many of the stimulants that people reach for are very hard on our physiology and end up doing more damage than they do good. And then the mental focus part of it, tremendous to help people kind of stay to the task. And then maintaining the hydration. That to me, cool. Now listen, this is where they kind of compare some of these other more popular drinks that people are consuming, and you can see why Anton said this is in a category all by itself. It really has no peers. It's really difficult to compare this to anything else, but we went ahead and kind of put this together to say, okay, let's see. Calories, 15. Oh, the sugar grams. I said 15 grams of sugar. Earlier, I meant it had 15 calories and only 3 grams of sugar. Minimal amount in a packet. And this is why, again, that term that they use in the sense of sustained energy, mental focus, and maintaining hydration to the body. This is exciting to me. And I've tried it myself. It works extremely well. Like I said, I've had several patients try it, and they've seen a tremendous positive benefits from consuming this on a daily basis, and they feel better. and they don't feel agitated, they don't feel anxious, and that to me is extremely important. As we all know, this is the picture of the mangosteen fruit. The product has mangosteen in it as well, which to me, again, adds antioxidants to this product, which makes it even more nutritional and beneficial to the body. And so this is the flagship product of the company. The mangosteen, as Anton alluded to earlier, boy, again, we used to give hour-long lectures just on the benefits of the mangosteen and the potential it has to help the body create balance. And so the scientific papers that are available are overwhelming. There's papers printed in scientific journals throughout the entire world. I mean, several thousand that validate very much why people see the benefits that they do when they consume this on a daily basis. So again, this is just, to me, cream on the pie, so to speak, in the sense of adding those antioxidants, as Anton said earlier, adding the anti-inflammatory effect to the product on top of what we're seeing with the other ingredients, with the GABA, with the ginseng, green tea extract, coconut water, and so on. And so every one of those products, again, very natural and native to the body, which to me is exciting. So right now what I want to do now is kind of throw this back to Nick, and so he can explain some of the opportunities that are still available. But just kind of, again, I couldn't reiterate more. Remember, very safe product, not habit forming, not going to make you weird or weirder if you're already weird, right, Anton? And so, and to me, you couldn't ask for a cleaner product. So very innovative and a great idea. Nick, if you want to come back up.
Great.
There you go, dude.
Thanks. All right. Thanks, Dr. Johnson. Let's give another round of applause to Anton and Dr. Johnson for their presentation. So I want to talk real quick about what Zengo's doing with the MB30. There's a lot of events. Leaders are born in events just like this, coming into a home, and then they continue to go to the events that we have. We have regional events. We have an international convention coming up this September. And if you don't believe me when I say leaders are born at these events and that you will grow 100%, if not more than that, when you go to an event like this, just take my word for it, and I challenge you to go and check it out and see how you come out afterwards, because you will be ready to go to build a business that will be like nothing else. And so just to kind of end it here, back on some of these slides, I don't know if I'm hitting the wrong, there we go, on one of the big points that we're trying to let people know is, do you know people right now that are drinking Diet Cokes, Monsters, 5 Hour Energy? I mean, think about the people that are drinking those drinks. And you saw the slides with a cost comparison. There's so many opportunities to share this with people because they're already spending the money right now to buy the products that we've been talking about that aren't good for you, where if you invite them, you talk to them to try one of these packets, the cost savings is incredible. I mean, sometimes it's over 50%, sometimes it's 100% savings on that. It's a no-brainer. They're already spending the money. And you give them something that's healthy and cheaper and works better, that's where that business opportunity really comes into play, that you can start making money and you can start sharing it and growing a business really quick. And I don't know about you, but that's what I love to do. I want to be the person that can pull up in a new car. I want to be a person that lives in a nice home. I don't do it because of I'm materialistic and stuff, but I do like money because of the opportunities that it will provide for me and my family. I want to be able to go, if someone calls, hey, can you come help me for a day to do this or that, or help me move or do it? Yeah, I want to have that opportunity where I'm working for myself, where I can make that time and say, hey, I'm going to do that for that person. If my family wants to go on a vacation, I don't have to sit there and ask my boss and say, hey, can I get this time off? Nope, that's a busy week, it's the end of the quarter, whatever it is. I don't want that situation. And it's so much better when you are in control. And this gives you that control. And so think about what you've heard tonight. Think of the people that are using these products or that can use something different in their life. They can use more health, use a little bit more money. That one check that Anton shared that $400, that $423 check, one of his first checks, his unilevel check. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people that $400 extra per month can change lives. You know, that's something you can save for. That's a trip you can save for. That's a new car. That's so many different things for different people. And so that's the opportunity that we're presenting tonight. This is a very, very solid company. You've heard it. The products are better than anything else that are out there on the market. So this is the time to act. I challenge everyone. We do these every single week. We're having our next meeting Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at the corporate office. Bring someone. Invite someone. Challenge them. Say, hey, if you don't like it, just come try it out. You get a free sample Limitless. Let them get, feel it, taste it, get to know what it is, and invite them. That's all this is all about. You invite someone, you get them in front of the people, the leadership of the company, and let them do the work for you. Because once they get in, you earn that commission for sharing the product and sharing and giving that person an opportunity to order that product from the company because of how good it is. So I just want to challenge everyone, if you're coming next week, to be there and invite someone new every single week, and you'll just watch this snowball and how it grows and grows. Pretty soon you're going to have that unilevel check and that global bonus pool of 100,000 plus. We saw that last time on Dwayne's. We see it on Anton's. This is real. These are real numbers. And I don't know, when was the last time we did a meeting like this in a home? I mean, I think this is one of the coolest things, to be invited into a house, and we don't get to do this that often, but this is the opportunity that it's providing us at this time. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out, especially Anton and Dustin for allowing us into your home tonight. And if you have any questions, we're going to be around. Find the person that brought you here, ask them the question, and we appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.